the answers for me later.
No, it's okay. I just have to record her for her professor.
Yeah, I just have to have it turned in. Okay, hi guys. My name is Morgan. I'm a senior at ECU. I am a kinesiology pre-PT major, and I'm so glad that you guys are here because now I get to present. I'm doing it for one of my classes at school for clinical exercise physiology, which is basically just a class about how your heart responds to exercise and different things that we put it through on a daily basis. So I'm going to talk to you today about how your heart works and how blood flows through your heart while you're moving around and doing things. And then also about how exercise, both resistance exercises and endurance exercises, affect your heart and what it looks like after you do those things. And then also the last will be about what an aging heart looks like and how exercise can change it and make it better. Okay, so first I started with a little fun fact quiz that I made that we'll go over the answers at the end. So, and on the very bottom, what I want you to do first is pair up with a partner, and I want you to find your heart rate right now. So, actually, you can do it by yourself. So you're going to do it on your thumb side, so right here you have your radial artery. Yeah. And I can time it. I'll count to 30, and when I say stop, you're going to stop counting and then multiply that number by 2. And that'll be your heart rate right now, and I left a spot for you. You can write it down if you want. Okay. Start counting.
Start counting now?
Okay, did you get a number? You didn't get one? Oh my goodness. What was it? 76. All right. Well, a normal heart rate, your questions on it. What do you guys think?
Mine's 68.
All right. What do you think that a normal heart rate range would be? One of your questions on there is that. Which one? What one? It's actually 60 to 100. Those are the normal ranges. 100 is a little high, but the normal ranges by the not AFC, whatever.
I cannot see
The normal ranges are 60 beats per minute to 100 beats a minute. So 100 would be a little high, but
for an adult is this high. For a
Yes.
child, no.
yes.
So the range you are actually saying between children. I mean, an overall, not just adults. That's why I said.
Okay. Okay, so we can go over those answers now. Do you know what the 4? Yeah, good. And do you know what atrium is Latin for? Entrance hall. Yeah, it's a good one. And when does the normal human heart begin beating? Yeah, you guys are so smart. And how much does the heart pump per minute? How many gallons? Do you know that one? What'd you say? It's 1.5. Yeah. And then how big is your heart? It said it was the size, we've learned that it's the size of both of your hands crossed together like this. All right, so your heart has 4 chambers and 4 valves that help it to regulate blood. So we've already gone over that 2 of them are the atria and 2 of them are the ventricles. So you have your left and right atria, which receive blood from your body through your veins. And then you have your left and right ventricles, which is where blood is pumped after it comes out of your lungs and from your arteries. Then there you have 4 valves. which you have a mitral valve, a tricuspid valve, an aortic valve, and a pulmonary valve. So your mitral valve is what controls the flow of your oxygen-rich blood from the left atrium to the left ventricle. So it controls the flow up and down like this. And then your tricuspid valve does the exact same thing except with oxygen-poor blood. So your blood that doesn't have oxygen in it, and it controls it on the right side. So those two valves are the ones that control it up and down between your heart. And then you have your aortic valve and your pulmonary valve. So your pulmonary valve it goes to your lungs, yeah. So your pulmonary valve is what takes the oxygen-poor blood from your heart to your lungs so it can get oxygen, and then it comes back in and goes out the aortic valve, which sends it to the rest of your body. So that is how blood flows through your heart. And so blood, when it goes through your heart, it enters through your superior and your inferior vena cava. So that is where your blood comes from when it comes after it goes all through your veins and your arteries, comes back in through those two things, and then it goes into the right atrium. Your atrium contracts and blood flows through your tricuspid valve into your right ventricle, and then it goes from your right ventricle to your pulmonary veins and through your lungs so it can get oxygen in it, and comes back in to your left ventricle. I have to think about it in a picture in my head. Left ventricle, and then it goes through the mitral valve to your your left atrium, and then through your aortic valve, through your aorta, all over your body. So that's how your body gets the oxygenated blood that it needs. All right. So any questions about how blood flows through your body? Okay, so do you guys know any reasons other than to stay healthy why you should exercise? Okay. Have fun, yeah. Exercise is fun most of the time, right? It does improve circulation. Also, it can help your heart. Like all muscles, when you're exercising, you're increasing your muscle mass and you're exercising your muscles. But your heart is a muscle, so when you exercise, you're strengthening it as well. So your heart, and also you can remodel your heart when you exercise. So it looks one way before you start, and then after you've been exercising and staying fit for a while, it looks a completely different way, and it works more efficiently for your body type that you have. It becomes, what'd you say?
Does it get larger?
You shouldn't get larger, but you can increase the stroke volume that you have. Stroke volume is just the amount of blood that your heart can squeeze out whenever it pumps one time. So that, yes, and so what that does is when you exercise, your stroke volume increases. So your heart is able to work more efficiently, and you can get more blood to your body and to your brain just by one pump instead of a lot of them. So you want stroke volume to go up.
Waddles here.
Yeah. Your heart also becomes healthier and more compliant whenever you exercise. Compliant is just the amount of stretch that your heart has, so it can fill and get larger and then squeeze more out. That also goes with stroke volume that we just talked about. Cardiac output also goes up. These kind of all tie into each other, which is good. Cardiac output is the amount of blood that is pumped out of your heart per minute. So if your stroke volume goes up and your compliance of your heart goes up, cardiac output also goes up because you're just getting more blood out of your body all at the same time. Not out of your body, out of your heart. You don't want blood to come out of your body. That's not good.
Efficiency.
Yes. Okay, so you can do different kinds of training. So you can do endurance and cardio training, or you could do resistance weight exercises. And to stay healthy, you should do a combination of both of them, but each have different effects and benefits for your heart. Cardio training is your resting heart rate actually drops. So if you do a lot of endurance running and swimming and things like that, your resting heart rate drops. So instead of you having a resting heart rate of, say, 67, you have a resting heart rate of 59 or something like that. So it would drop, and it just is because you don't require as much blood in your body because you're fit and active. Cardio exercise is also important to heart health because when you're able to get more blood out in one beat, it takes the strain off of your heart. So it's not having to work as hard, so you're less prone to heart disease, heart failure, things like that. That is what we all want. And then also you can do resistance training, which is like working on weights and weightlifting and things such as that. Although it's traditionally viewed that only aerobic exercises and endurance and running and things helps your heart, it's actually been proven and studied that resistance training and weight training does also help improve your heart health. Your resting blood pressure goes down, and that's a good thing. So it goes down 3 to 4 millimeters of mercury, just because you don't have as much resistance in your arteries and veins, so your heart's not having to work as hard to get blood around to the places it's needed. And then resistance exercise also produces a different pattern of blood vessel responses than aerobic exercises. So resistance training it gives you a greater increase of blood flow to your limbs because you're having to lift weights with your arms or with your legs. And so your heart is able to pump the blood where it is needed instead of pooling it where you don't need it at. So resistance exercises, when you are lifting the weights, your heart is able to tell where the blood is needed to go, and it's able to get it there quicker so you can work more efficiently and lift more.
What about walking?
Walking would be considered an endurance cardio kind of exercise if you're walking quick enough to get your heart rate up.
Okay.
So it would increase the compliance and your stroke volume would go up. You should definitely walk, it's good. And then,
So you're talking about resistance or weight bearing?
yes. So resistance exercises as in like lifting weights or doing dumbbell curls or whatever you're doing like that. And then aerobic would be like walking, running, swimming, anything that gets your heart rate, that you're like specifically targeting getting your heart rate up, rather than, whereas resistance exercises you're working on, you're thinking about building muscle instead of heart health, which is not a bad thing. So both of those things combined, it's been shown that if you combine both of those kind of workouts, so you do a little bit of cardio and a little bit of strength training exercises like that, those are the best for your heart and they look the best, and you have just better heart health all over. You are more likely to avoid heart disease and arteriosclerosis and things like that. So combination of both kinds of exercises are what we should all be striving to do. And then also, last thing, when you get older, your heart starts to look differently because everything starts to age. It slows down, yes, it slows down a lot. As you age, your heart is not able to beat as fast, which is what you just said. It's not able to beat as fast during physical activity or when you get stressed. So your heart rate is, instead of from that 60 to 100, it's slower than that. And then your blood vessels can also become stiff, and some parts of your heart walls actually thicken up so it's not able to get as much blood out. And if your arteries and veins and your heart walls are stiff, then it is hard for the blood to flow through where it needs to. So that's how you get blood clots and places that don't get enough blood, whereas when you were younger, you didn't have that happening. And then the valves in your heart, which is where the blood flows through whenever it's pumping around, they can also get thick and stiff. So your heart itself is not able to pump the blood through as easily as it could. The blood might get stuck where it shouldn't be, or it can't get in when it should. And it can also cause leaks from your heart. So you have too much blood and more blood tries to come in and then it leaks out because the valve can't get back closed. So you have blood that leaks out of your heart and none of those things sound good. So exercise itself can help reduce those risks. And when you exercise and are active, especially at a young age, you can help reduce these, but staying active in longer life, older life, can also help reduce those things. And those are good things to reduce. No one wants that kind of stuff. And then also an aging heart, you can get arteriosclerosis, which is a hardening of your arteries. So when your arteries get hard, they're not compliant anymore and blood has a really hard time getting through. And that's when you get heart attacks and heart disease and blood clots and stuff like that. So keep exercising. Do a combination of both of the exercises that we talked about. You're probably doing them here. So she makes you do it. She's supposed to. It's her job, right?
She's laughing.
She laughs back there.